up, ultra happy people? I am your host, ultra runner and coach Tania, and your magnificent co-host Andy.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah. Well, first of all, we were checking the stats of the podcast, and first of all, I want to say welcome to all the new listeners. We have a lot of new listeners in the last season and season 3. So first of all, welcome to the podcast. And I want to say, first of all, thank you for listening. And I invite you all to catch up from season 1 if you haven't done yet, where we speak a little bit about why the reason of creating this podcast, and basically is to take you along all our running journeys from the beginner kind of side of it.
That's me.
Andy. And maybe not so beginners that are looking to, live a thrilling adventures like me out there. So that's, and we want to share what does it look like from the training perspective, the life perspective, bringing you all the stories with a little bit of professional advice as well from different sources, and just overall fun chat. Away from times or splits or PRs. Like, we're not interested or looking to get any of that chat.
Well, I'm a wee bit, but I need to stop it.
Oh, you're getting that train. I think that's fair. I think at the beginning you do compare a little bit yourself, but as you, I think, mature, I want to say, in this sport, a lot of things change, and I think one of those is that you start like just doing it for the fun and for you, and that's when that's where I am in that stage. But exactly, that's what we're here for. So welcome. Hope you find this and all the episodes where you can find something that you can take away and use it for your training. Maybe ignite the fire and start your journey, just like Andy did. And, or, maybe not only in running, perhaps maybe in your life, maybe you start seeking the uncomfortable path, because that is the fun path. With that said, how's everyone doing? How's your running doing? First of all, I like to always start with you, because you can tell us better stories probably than me.
I don't know about that. It's funny because obviously when we started the podcast,
you were not supposed to be running.
I didn't run. I couldn't run for a bus.
No.
Do you know what I mean, at that point? And I just decided to start, and now I love it. The fact we talk about it just for a wee moment about my journey, and starting to run.
That was not the plan, by the way. It was never intended to be, but since you started running, I mean, I think it does give a great addition for people that maybe are not into, or they're looking into, like, saying, Tania, oh no, she does these crazy things, but you can give us like the other side of it, which is like very important. The starting.
Yeah, I think that, and I spoke about it last week, is that I'm starting to experience things in running that I didn't think existed. For example,
and you're like reminding me of those things, that maybe I forgot already.
Yeah, and I know that I said last week that I had a bit of a disrespect for miles and stuff like that. And actually, do you know what? When I kind of reflected on it, I think I broke through a barrier I didn't know I had, if you know what I mean. And what I mean by that is that, see, we having those thoughts about mileage and stuff like that, I think what you do is you almost get excited about it and you get flippant at the same time, because every time you do an extra mile and you look back, you go, well, I can do 6 miles now, so that's me bust 5K. I'm a 6 mile runner. Do you know what I mean? So you have these things and these thoughts in your head about achieving things, and once you get these goals, you kind of forget how hard it was to do the last ones. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But actually what it made me do is it made me sort of reflect on things a wee bit more, and I think that actually psychologically, or what you would call it, is your mental toolkit.
Oh, are you starting to build your mental toolkit?
No, I'm not starting to build no toolkit just yet. I don't even have a screwdriver.
I'm like super excited, like, tell me what it's on.
But I think when you were talking about your mental toolkit in the past, as much as I understand mental strength and using your mind to get you over things, that made me realise how important the mind is. Do you know what I mean? Not to get too carried away with yourself and not to do these things. And actually, what it done is it made me do a bit of a deep dive into some running stats. So I'm going to ask you a few
Oh my
things,
God, are we
right?
going to have a new section in there?
No. But what it does, but it's
Fun facts by Andy.
but it's the first time it made me think about running and what people do. Because I was saying about, if you remember, I'd said when I was looking at doing a half marathon, signing up for it, I seen there was a 5K, a 10K, and a 21.2K, and I was like, do people actually race 5Ks? But they do.
Yeah, very fast.
That's generally speaking the first race that people get into. You know what I mean? But wait, hear this.
Okay.
So, do you know that only 6% of the world actually run?
Hold on.
6%.
6%.
If you do 5K, you belong to the top 10% of runners.
Okay.
If you do 10K, you're in the top 5% of runners. And you'll love this one. If you run ultra marathons, you're in the top 0.007% of runners.
No, I mean, I knew it's a small or a really, small sport, but that's
that is just, but that just shows you how one
and
ultra
that is men and women.
Yeah, well, I've got some stats on that.
Imagine women.
So-
So like 0.00001.
Well, the average age, right? And I thought this was dead interesting because we always talk about age of runners
It's
and
an
stuff like
older
that, right?
sport, the ultra
So
running.
this is just runner. So at the moment we've got the average age of a 5K runner is 40.
You're gonna be late for that though.
I'm a bit late for that. The average age of a 10K runner is 39.
Okay.
The average age for a half marathon runner is 39, which makes sense because a lot of people will progress from 10K to half marathons.
Yeah, it's kind of close.
The average age for marathon runners is 40.
Wow, that is.
And what age do you think the average age of ultra runners is?
For what I see, it's definitely over 40. I would
Okay,
say
you're getting
around 40. Like the biggest, like age category is 40 to 45. So it has to be in between that.
Give me a number.
Oh, Jesus. I'll go in the middle. 43.
43 and a half. 43
43
and a half. There you go. So
it's going to be the average.
for all you ultra runners out there you go.
So
And as well
you're
as-
in that around that age.
I'm around that age. Right. So
Yeah.
ultras, do you know that popularity has increased 3,145% in the past 10 years?
Absolutely, because I am in that percentage
And-
because I started running 9 years ago. So I am in
so
within
you're one of them.
that 10 years.
And
yeah.
something you're going to love.
Yeah.
Women are actually 0.6% faster than men in races longer than 195 miles.
Jesus.
For all other distances, men run faster than women.
I
though.
love that. So 100,
So-
195?
Yep. So if you do
Okay,
over
so-
195 miles, women, generally speaking, are winning those races.
So I have a chance for Cocodona.
You have a chance. 23% of ultra runners are women.
23.
23.
Yeah.
So that's when we were saying that in
usually
some of those
20, so
races where
yeah.
there was 30. That's
a
actually
lot.
good.
Yeah.
So that's really good.
20 is pretty, yeah. I would believe that, yeah.
So moving on to trail runners. This
Aye.
and I actually
That will be even less.
but I always associated this is the thing, I always associated in my head trail runners and ultra runners being a similar kind of sport, but it's not, it's different.
Yeah.
So about
Okay.
77% of trail runners are men and 23 are women.
That's the same 23 from like what we're
Yep.
saying, yeah.
Finland has the greatest proportion of female trail runners in the world with 43%.
What?
Finland.
I never thought about Finland being. Nah. I always thought it would be like Spain
Yeah.
has a big community of trail running and hiking.
Yep. And the most popular country in the world for trail running is, where do you think?
I would say the Alps, France.
The United States.
What? Well, it's just so big though.
Because
it
it's
makes
because
sense.
it's so big and the
Yeah,
population.
I guess.
And when I was reading all this, the funniest thing, I read the funniest thing.
Oh god.
So did you know that
Okay.
there's a man versus horse marathon?
Is it the 100-mile one?
It's in Wales and it puts runners against horseback riders for 35 kilometres with 22 miles. And yeah, the horses generally win.
I mean,
But that's mental, isn't it?
yeah.
Crazy.
That is so wild.
Yeah.
I love that.
When I was going through it, I was like, oh, I'm quite surprised at that. And then there was other ones.
And you
I
feel
thought
a little bit
wasn't
proud
surprised.
that you were like
Well,
part of your 10%?
this is my point. This was my point, and why this all came up is because after last week, and I got that breakthrough, I felt like I wanted to understand a wee bit more about running for the first time, instead of just putting one foot in front of the other, as I've said in the past. I wanted to understand the sort of breakdown of it.
I'm
and how
loving
it works
that you're starting
and
to
what,
like
and what people are
love it.
thinking about, you know, like
Yeah.
I mean, you even caught me like in the past watching the Coopcast. You know what I mean? I feel like
Yeah, it's growing. It's growing on you.
yeah, it is growing on me. I'm not like I still wouldn't class myself as a runner as yet, but
I don't class myself as a runner
I
either.
think the thing is I find it interesting, and I hope everybody else found those stats interesting as well.
Oh my God. I find them interesting because I don't even Google those stats anymore. So that was interesting.
There you go.
I'm feeling a little bit proud there to be that 0.000007.
I knew you would love that.
I knew it was unique.
Yeah.
But that definitely brings it down to a number.
See, for everyone out there that's doing the 5 deserts, remember that what's happened is when we're talking about those stats of those people doing ultramarathons at 0.007%, that's only suggesting that they do one a year. So
Right.
to do more than one a
Multiple.
year, or to do
Well,
multiple
that's
a
per
year,
year.
that's per year as well. So
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
so imagine, right, that what happens is if you're doing 5 a year, then that statistic is even crazier.
Smaller. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I mean,
5 or the deserts or any if you're doing more than one ultra marathon a year, then you are
that's a serious runner.
special nutter like me.
special crazy person.
That is so cool. Well, yeah, it's been 2-3 weeks since 2 weeks since I came back from
3.
the last one. 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
And yeah, it's been fun. I've been recovering. This was my first week kind of starting yesterday. So we record on Wednesday. So it's been 3 days. No, but Monday I rest. So it's Tuesday.
And you woke up in the morning like, oh.
I don't want to start this week because it's going to be a hell of a ride. So yeah, I'm excited because I'm excited to see what I can build into months that I have to feel better in Jordan more than I did. Like I feel better than I did in Namibia because that's the one that is sort of closer to Jordan, right? Sand and heat. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how like I want to feel better than I did in Namibia. And obviously we live now in a place that I can really prepare for those kind of terrain and that heat and everything. So yeah, it's something I'm excited, looking forward to it. But I know, obviously, because in my experience, I know that in order to do that, I have to put a little bit of work in. Yeah. And like I said, this was my first week kind of moving back, and it's been kicking my ass because I'm just day 2 and I'm dying. I can barely sit down. My legs are really sore, but I feel energized. I feel like okay, I'm really sore, but I'm not because I'm doing my nutrition part as well. I'm getting better at my nutrition this time. I do not feel hungry like I was last time. I was feeling like I was eating so much, but not
Tabasco.
really. And 10 bottles of Tabasco, and like the hunger was not being satisfied. And if you remembered, I had a phone call with my nutritionist last week, and I've been following now for 2 weeks, I think, the plan. And I do feel like you can feel the difference. Like, oh my God. Seriously.
What will be interesting this time is that for a lot of people out there who are just listening to podcasts that are not involved in the 5 deserts, you had such a short space of time between Namibia and Gobi.
Yeah, we had
that
5 weeks.
There wasn't much to do. This time it's 9 or 10 weeks, isn't it?
10 weeks.
So it's 10 weeks. Actually, that 10 weeks is a lot. It might not be
It's
a lot to some people. Sorry, it'll be a lot to some people, but not a lot to us, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
A lot in the sense that it's still 10 weeks.
I mean,
but
it's not
what
enough if you want to start from zero.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
But because I'm not starting from zero, I just need to polish a couple of things.
Yeah.
I think it's enough time to polish, which we said we were polishing the last podcast. So I am putting all my efforts in those 3 things, only 3 points this time. So I am putting all my efforts in there.
But the thing you're good
And I
at is
think will be enough.
sustainability. What you'll do is you'll be able to sustain all that. You'll be totally in tune with the diet, and you'll get on your training as much as it's painful at the moment. You'll definitely get on it because
Yeah.
I mean that's you're good at that
And to
consistency,
be able to push,
sustainability.
to dial in that training, I knew I needed the backup of the nutrition.
Yeah.
Always. It's always like key ingredient for everything. So you know, guys, how important it is. And also it's very important to get a nutritionist on board if you're able to. And if not, we have a great podcast with the nutritionist Alvar. If you can't maybe afford a nutritionist, he is giving us great advice on nutrition. So refer to that one. It's in the first season. So it's very important, really cool to talk that chat that we had with him that time. So today we are going to dive in really fast and quick and fun into stage 3 and stage 4 of Gobi March. Stage 3, I think these 2 stages were the pinnacle of the race for me. There is 6 stages, as you know, and these 2 were, I think, everything for me. And they were a really great example of life, I think, overall.
Okay, so
Because
paint the picture. Paint the picture.
Stage 3, I thought my life was over. Like, this is it. I can't do this anymore.
Life was over. Dramatic.
No, seriously.
Well, I
I think
suppose
I
in
was
those
I was
moments-
in a very low moment. Like, I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, I had to really, really, like, shake myself up.
Yeah.
And then stage 4, I came back like
Got the
Phoenix.
Got the taxis.
from the ashes. It's just, like, yeah, it just shows you like nothing is over until it's really over. So it's like life.
I think, like I was saying before,
you need to fight until
is watching
over.
or tracking you on those races. I could see how middle of the pack you were for first 2 days, and I know you were saying
And
they
3,
were tough.
the 3
And
as well.
3, yeah.
3 probably I dropped even more because I was.
And then all of a sudden, it's like, where the hell did this come from? Like,
I don't know. I had to shake myself up.
Did you change into jet shoes, or did you get a taxi?
I
Or?
get one of those shoes that have like wheels in the back,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
and then you just like slide.
Yeah.
But yeah, and before I even start, I'm gonna tell you guys my second wardrobe malfunction story because I had to change for the stage this season, the stage 3. So since in stage 1 and 2, I started realizing that my top, like my bra top, was starting to cut me really bad. So like the
straps?
No, like here, like in my
Under your arm.
yeah, like
okay,
all my armpit, like both of them. My back was really bad, and this like everything was it was burning me, which was weird because it's the same bra top I used in Namibia. But like I said, I don't know why, but everyone was chafing so much more in Gobi.
Yeah,
Maybe it was
that's
humid.
strange, isn't it?
Maybe I don't know what it was, but everyone was struggling with the chafing so bad in this one. So I don't know why, but I was just not feeling comfortable, and I remember the last kind of kilometers of day 2, I was like just crying of pain because it was like so painful, and I had like the lift, like just the cuts just there, and I couldn't even put the top anymore. So I thought, okay, we need to solve this, because there is no way I'm going to leave another 40 kilometers with this pain, feeling uncomfortable. I mean, already the whole situation is uncomfortable, to be even more uncomfortable wearing something that's causing you even more pain, right? So that's not the good place to start. So I packed a top that I use for sleeping and then just hanging about in the, after the race in camp. Just one that is like super loose. No, it's not a sports bra or anything. It was just a top, the one that I bought in Muji, by the way. Again. But it was just, like I said, it's just no support, no nothing. It's just something I used even to go to bed, just to not be, like with my super tight top at night, all night. So that's what I had this top. But I thought, you know what, I'm going to have to run with this one, because I cannot stand, or I cannot bear the thought of putting that super tight top again. So stage 3, I said, you know what? What's the worst that can happen? If I don't feel comfortable, if it's bouncing too much or hurting me, then I will just change, right? It's not like I have many stuff to jump around, but
When you said bouncing too much, I was like,
I know, I see your face. I know I don't have a lot of bouncing around to do, but even that little bouncing could be painful.
I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe was it your hair you're talking about?
I've never done this before.
Well,
So, I
guys,
thought,
guys don't suffer that problem. So
yes, sorry. I mean, yeah, and that's so unfair as well, guys. We had to carry another top. We need to, and you guys just...
hold on a minute. Are you actually now saying that it's unfair in the race?
Yeah.
That women have to carry the same backpack as men, but as well as that, they have also a chest to carry.
Yeah. It's extra weight. Extra clothes to carry.
I'm done.
So thank God I packed that extra top, which you guys don't have to carry, by the way. So I have that. So I decided that I was going to put that on for stage 3, like I said. And I thought, you know what? If it hurts, it hurts, Anyway, so that's how I started stage 3. That's where it's funny because when you make those decisions, people that run probably would relate to this when you're like preparing your clothes to run, But let's say you just run here, downstairs. And if you make a mistake, you're like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to, I'm just going for an hour run or whatever, and I'll go upstairs to my apartment or whatever, the house. But these ones is like, first of all, when you leave your house to these races, it's like you hope you make the right decision of clothing, the right decision of everything, because there's no going back. There's no going back. And the same thing with you start a stage or a long race like this is like, I hope I'm doing the right choices. And actually, that's something I like to say to my athletes or people that are going to races. I'm usually like, I'm not the usually will text you like good luck. I don't think good luck is going to help you, but I always will message you saying make good choices, because I think that's the key. That's going to make or break in a lot of things if you make good choices. So as I say, just think straight, make good choices, and have fun. That's pretty much my advice for the race. So that's when I was like making this decision to like if I should change the top, and I was like, I hope I'm making a good choice here, because I'm just gonna leave that and then just put this one on. Anyway, so day 3, it started with a massive climb, like literally, guys, a climb with like hands and everything. Like it was rock climbing, right?
Yeah, you could see that from the video that it was like.
Oh yeah, by the way, so the full video is up in our JoJo channel, so it's the episode before this one. And yeah, so you can see the full movie there, and I put it out there. So if you see the video now and you have any questions, obviously shoot them. I'm going to be answering them all. And obviously it gives us a little bit more time to, for you can see what I'm talking about. So yeah, exactly. Go and check it out. And actually I received already a couple of questions about the video. So I'll put some at the end of this episode. So the stage 3, like I said, is like all climbing, like rocks and boulders. And it was just really difficult. And yeah, and it was early in the morning. So it was hot, but it was not like super hot, thank God. So we climbed. It was just a slow plot. It was just slow walking, hiking. Yeah. Survival to the fullest. And at the middle of the climb, there was like these temples. That's where you see in the video, if you watch the video, that I stop in a temple and you actually can go inside the temple. And so I did, to be honest. I was like, there was people obviously that were trying to sprint off and just try to.
It looked like you were praying.
I was like, yes. And I just stopped and I prayed, because I was like, you know how many people have been here, like trekked all that we trekked, and stopped and prayed in this little temple, like maybe just locals. Like it was so, how many in your statistics now, we're very statistical. Do you know how many people have been there? Like, let's say Westerns or let's say Mexicans, like probably none.
Yeah. What did you pray for? Help.
I just said, I was just feeling grateful at that moment, I think. But again, because I was like, I can't believe I'm here. That always happens, obviously, when I see all these beautiful surroundings, and I'm like, what am I doing here? This is amazing. And yeah, again, so it was more of a grateful. I didn't pray for anything. I don't think I can. I don't think I need to ask for anything because I am very blessed and I have everything. So I have to only say thank you and we feel very grateful about it. So I just was very grateful, and then obviously I kept going with my horrendous climbs because I was just to have. So it was a great excuse to stopped anywhere that was a bit cooler because inside the temple was a little bit cooler. It smelled like incense. It smells so lovely.
Cool. Love that.
So it was great because you've been smelling really bad for the past 3 days. So entering a place that smells nice, it feels nice.
You were telling me that the run itself actually smelled good. It smelled of like tea or something.
Yeah. Just because it was pretty grassy. Like when you step on the grass, but I don't know, obviously it's not grass. I should ask. Someone told me the name of the plant that I forgot already.
Okay.
But it's a plant, and obviously when you press it or when you step on it, it releases like some smell, and it was really nice. But yeah, not in that section because it was very rocky, so there was not that plant. But the temple was beautiful, and there was a couple of charming praying charms that you can pass along, and it was really, really fun, that stop. And the day progressed. Obviously it was starting to get really, really hot, and I was really like, thank God I changed my top. Right. So the top worked. It was great because I was not feeling that pain of rubbing because it was burning the day before. I was like, and I was all uncomfortable and trying to find how to like move it around, and it was just not. And this one I could forget about it, and it was nice. And yeah, there was not a lot of running, so there was no bouncing.
I know we joked about the like monkey butt and all that sort of stuff, but chafing, it can be one of the sorest things ever. So
should I tell my story of last weekend?
Oh.
Sorry, we're going to do a timeout here.
Let me tell you before we start this story that
you tell this story.
I am mentally scarred. I
have mental scars.
So Tania goes for a hike, as she does with some of her friends she's made over here that go running and hiking, and she comes back, and I could see that something's not right with her, so she goes straight to the toilet, and there's tears, and she's like, Andy, in fact, I was in the spare room at the time, and you text me saying, "Where are you? You're not answering. Where are you?" And I'm like, hold on a minute, what's going on? And I came in to see you, like standing doubled over, like in agony, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? What happened? You said, I've been chafed. No, you said, no. What you said is, I've been chaffed.
Oh yeah, I remember I cannot say shaved.
I've been chaffed. I'm like, what do you mean? I've been shaved. I mean, I've been chafed. And I'm like, right,
whatever.
okay,
I can't think. I'm in too much pain.
Let me see. And I've got to tell you, this is the worst I've ever seen. And the part and the crotch part of her leg, where the leg joins onto the crotch, the skin was all torn. And I was like, did you not see this before? Like, did you not know? And she's like, no, I felt like a wee bit of a pain, but when I got to the car and when I was driving, it was okay. I didn't really notice it until I got home, and I was like, oh, my God. Now, see, when I say chafed, this thing, and I'm going to call it a thing, was about 4 inches long.
In the two sides.
On the two sides, and I was like, that was horrible. There was parts of it like that you could see the skin coming up. Sorry, everybody, but
it is what it is. And yeah, I learned my lesson. Chafing can be really painful.
Actually, important lesson in that is because I'd said to you, because it happens to me sometimes as well. Yeah. And I said, it just shows you that it can happen to anyone. I know.
Right? We're laughing. And we're not laughing, but we're telling the story of the guy that DNF because he got monkey butt. It just literally happened.
And it happened. Yeah.
If that had happened to me in the race, the pain was so unbearable. Even the next day. Yeah. He was absolutely right. I would have not been able to run at all. I couldn't even move the next day. I was just.
So I had to go out and get you cream and all, didn't I?
Yeah.
cream and painkillers.
Sorry for painting this picture, guys. But the next day, I had to be with my legs up, open, because I
Again, not a pleasant sight.
couldn't close my legs.
I know. And big shout out to my mum, because the solution for my mum for everything, no matter what happens to you, if you break a bone
What did she say?
or you've got
Vaseline.
you've got
Vaseline.
you've got measles or a cough, she's
Vaseline.
stick a bit of Vaseline
Just
on
Vaseline.
that, son.
It will help.
It'll help. And I got
yeah.
you smothered in Vaseline, didn't we?
It was just terrible. So yeah, it was my mistake. I wore some shorts that were like not the tight ones that I usually wear. I just wanted to use the ones that are like this, like loose fit kind of shorts. Yeah, let's not do that again.
I've got a question for you, right? In reflection, do you think you took your outfit for granted?
No,
that it
it's
would
because
just be
I changed
okay?
the shorts. I thought I changed the shorts. Those shorts are for a short like day out, like an hour run. That will be fine. But I was 3.5 hours out and I was sweating a lot. So the more sweat, the more salt, and then obviously the accumulation of salt, and it's just that's what does to Robin. So
Well, the reason I'm saying maybe I'm saying about you taking it for granted, right, is that now when you go and you do whatever hike it is or whatever it is you're going to do, the fact you even bought new underwear and you've bought everything, so that made you think that you can't do that anymore. You can't. I mean, you're going to have specific outfit almost, and specific underwear and everything to go and do those
Underwear
things.
is very important as well. I was running low in the good underwear because I'll tell you another funny story. I am running low because every race, like we've been already, how many races we've done? 2, and there's 6 days in each one. I do pack my underwear for the race. That's something I do change every day just because.
Thank God.
It's just because hygienic, like, ladies, we need to. What happens when I've finished using an undie is I throw it away. So I am not going to be carrying dirty undies in my backpack.
To be fair, they're not expensive. You get granny pants off Amazon.
No, but they're expensive, those ones, because they're for running. Like they're like the good.
Oh, the ones that you get,
the good ones. So I do throw them away. So I've been running low on this, so I had to buy new ones. But yeah, that was the story of Chafin. Invest in good underwear, and don't do that.
Please don't do that, and especially don't show your partner.
I was crying. I've never felt so much pain in my
I've never
life.
seen you like that before.
So going back to stage number 3, it got really hard. I changed again, going back to Chafin. I was very happy that I changed my top, and it was the last. Obviously it just plugged down. It was just some heels, and there were some going down heels and some flats, and just kind of surviving the day. But then it got to the last 10K and the sun was starting to hit, and then the sand started to come out. Like there was it started with like rocks, and then we went into like a grassy trail bit, and then it went into like sandy, and then more sand and more sand. Like we were like going deeper into sand and sand. So the last, I would say maybe 10-15K were sandy.
Was it like sand dunes or mini sand dunes?
No, it was like proper sand,
like a beach sand.
Yeah, and it was soft sand, like Namibia type of sand. And I think I was having like those kind of memories back of like the struggle in Namibia, and then the heat was starting to like really eat me alive again. And I was thinking, I'm not doing this again. I don't think I have the will, the energy, the hate to survive another Namibia. Like, I don't think I can do it. I can just like think that for a while. I was like, I'm not doing another Namibia. I don't think I could do it. I think Namibia, I survived it because it was the first desert, and it was just like you didn't know what it was, and you were kind of like, I was like, I don't think I can survive another one. So I was feeling really, really low. And the last 5K, there was a checkpoint where if you watch the full video, there is a scene where I am laying down and people are spraying me with a lot of water, and they're throwing water on me and all that. Is that checkpoint. That is 5 kilometers before the finish of stage 3. I was struggling so bad. I thought, this is it. But I was 5K away. So I had to remember, I have to remind myself about the plan, right? If you remember, I don't have a why or anything. I just have the plan that we follow. Whenever these low moments come, or this, when you're in the struggle bus, is the plan is you're not going to quit, or you cannot quit if you're hungry, if you're hot, or you're tired. So I got to the checkpoint, I got cooled down, I ate a little bit, drank a little bit, and obviously I said, oh, well, you're 5 kilometers away, you're not tapping out just now. So just get to the finish and you'll figure it out. So that was a plan. I stopped for a little bit in that checkpoint. And yeah, I arrived to the camp. I arrived to the camp, I remember, very angry, tired, like moody, because it's not like the day that you wanted. Like I was doing great, and then people start passing me in the last 10K because I was walking really slow, like zero energy. So I got passed a lot.
I think especially if you're 3 days in, you expected, and I know the plan was before you went, we were talking about, right, first 2 days is like the settle days. That's the days that I get into the race, and then the third day I should be pretty
You're
much.
like, today is going to be my day, and then you're like, slapped with this, and you're like, I can't do it. So that's why it's one of the reasons why I need to get better in sand and walking, because I know that's when my low moments come, because I feel weak, I don't feel strong, and that's something I need to work on. And that's one of the reasons why I'm focusing on that in this build phase or training. So I went back to the camp, so moody. Thank God for Lisa, my tent mate. And she took my back. She seen me right away. She took my backpack away, and she's like, "You're okay. Just sit down." And I just sat down, and she took care of everything. Like, to be honest, having people like that when you're having one of those days, it just, so just little tokens that go so much more, because
such a long way.
It's like you need to, when the race is over, it's not really over, because you need to blow up your mat, set up your tent or your sleeping bag, take out your dinner, prepare your dinner. Like, there's so many much more other things. And if you get there drained like I was, anything I just sat down there. I'm like, I don't think I can. I don't want to do anything else. Like, I'm starving, obviously, but I just can't. I don't want to take my bag, open it, walk all the way to the water. It's just little things. It's just, you're like,
and that dehydrated food to look forward to.
Exactly. Plus, it's not like, yippee, something amazing to eat. It's like,
what have I got? Chicken tikka dehydration.
Exactly. So that was a great help, having her to help me out to set up everything. And those little things definitely go a long way. And I came back slowly to life. You start kind of, getting back, and once you start resting a little bit, and I had to regroup really fast, because I knew the next day was a long stage. So long stage is the 80 kilometers after 3 marathons. Trust me, it's a struggle just to think about it.
Yeah.
And then in this particular race, we have the long stage, and then after that, we still have another marathon to go. It's not like Namibia that the long stage was left at the end. This one is sort of in the middle. So
just to be nasty.
Just to be mean to us. No, there was a reason, I think, logistically, and because the long stage, we do cross seven rivers. We have a lot of river crossings, and if you don't do them that day, like you want to do them during the day or something like that, you don't want to do them at night.
Yeah,
there was some sort of like that kind of logistics, and
that
obviously the race director has to do those calls. So that was the plan. So the next day I had to regroup myself, and I always know that I am obviously more into an endurance, and I love the long stage. I love it because I feel I have maybe a little bit of an advantage. I don't know, maybe mentally, maybe, I don't know, because I'm not new to ultra distances. I like the ultra distance. And when a lot of people maybe were a little bit struggling, or they were scared of the distance, or they are, people are a little bit more cautious about it.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And I am not. I am not scared of that distance anymore. So I know that I have mentally that advantage. Let's say.
I remember visibly seen a difference in you after your first 100, after you completed it?
I think if anyone can do 100, if you can do that,
Yeah.
you can do anything in life.
Because I know.
Literally
we obviously,
anything in
for you
life.
guys out there that have been following and the new guys, that there was a number of attempts to do the 100 miler.
Yeah.
And over the course of that, getting to do it, I seen how hard it was for you mentally, because you were so frustrated and you were back on the computer the next day trying to find another one that was going to be good for you. But I visibly seen a change after that. There was this air of confidence about you that you could do those long distances.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't think I've ever mentioned it in the podcast, that when you completed the Wild Horse 100 miler, when you got over the finish line, there was just such a, I mean, there was this bizarre scream and shout and thing that came out of you. But actually, do you know, I think that was
so
I think that was
much.
you letting everything out. But as well as that, that's you receiving that confidence at the same time, if you know what I mean. I think getting it finished and knowing that you've actually achieved that
Yeah.
goal that you've
I
been
think I
trying for
got
so
a
long.
massive upgrade in my toolkit. It's like
100%.
Mario Kart,
That's
like Mario.
That's a great way of saying it. You got
like-
an upgrade in your toolkit.
Yeah. It's like Mario, you know, when it's like that mushroom, the powerful mushroom, and it grows. That's exciting. I just grabbed that nugget,
Yep.
ate the magic mushroom,
Yep.
and I was like, if I can do this, literally I can do anything.
But that makes me think about the people that you've spoke about in the podcast, and even like I think Monica was one of them, who just said, "I'm going to go and do
Something really hard.
really hard," and that was her first ultra marathon. She
Yeah,
would have
the
done. She would
Namibia
have
one
so
was the
on
first
the
one.
long march that day. That would have been her first 80K.
Yeah. Can you imagine that?
I can't get my head around that.
Me
I mean, and you like I
And
consider
this
us
one-
mentally strong people.
And this one
that's
was
like,
the second ultra marathon in her life.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm saying ultra marathon as a distance over 40. Obviously, this one is a stage race,
Yeah.
but really, really, in reality, you're doing one ultra marathon,
But
right? Inside the stakes stages.
But that 80K, although it's not a 100 miler, it's a massive distance.
no,
and there was quite a lot of
it feels
people that were
harder
doing
because
that.
you've run already 3 or 4 marathons the day before.
Yep.
So you'll get to the start line of the 80K already a little bit bruised and, sore.
But that's an amazing feat for anybody like it done Namibia or Gobi, and you said there was quite a few people that had never done it before.
What
Well,
amazing.
absolutely well done, because
Absolutely
that's incredible.
mind blowing. I
Yeah.
don't think I don't know how they did it. So this one was, these people were, like, for example, Maneka was her second ultra in her life. How wild is that? I mean, clearly, that's what I'm saying. I think in that area, that's what I was trying to say, is that not that I'm disrespectful, because I respect the distance a lot, but I attack it with a little bit more confidence, because for me, this one that is 80K, 50 miles, I think at this point I've ran over 15 50 milers in my life. So it's not like I'm disrespecting. I still know, and I actually respect it even more, but I've experienced it more. I'm a little bit more,
But see, going back to my conversation at the very beginning of the podcast, and
It's like
last
how
week,
you feel with the 5K.
it's how I felt with the 5K,
Exactly.
the 10K. So,
Yes,
so I had to make
exactly.
that leap mentally as well.
Yeah,
And in the
yeah.
beginning, where I was saying I was a bit disrespectful to it, now I'm not. Now I'm not.
No,
you know,
no,
it's
it
like-
is. I am in more respect for the distance, but I can attack it a little bit different because my body knows already that distance, and I feel comfortable to the distance. So I knew I was gonna have a good day, just because, again, I love the long day. I have that a little bit of advantage, if you want to call it, on me, and that's what I thought. So I went to bed and just pray for the best that I was
Moody.
gonna moody, and I thought, hopefully I feel better for tomorrow, because so stage 4, long march, 80 kilometers ahead of you. So I have to plan in my head how I wanted to attack it or break it down. So any distance, I would suggest, even you, to break it down in chunks that you can manage. So you said a 15K, right? Oh, I only need to do 3 5Ks. It sounds a little bit more friendly in your brain.
I done it with a water break.
There you go. Yeah. Or say, I'm going to do 7, water break, and 7. So that for you is breaking it in your head, right?
Yeah.
So that's exactly what I did for the 80K. I thought I need to break it down, right? So it makes it a little bit more friendly for me. That's what I usually do, and it works for me. Apart from obviously attacking it checkpoint to checkpoint, yes, but I still have in my head, let's do really strong. So in my head, I thought I'm going to do really strong 56K, which is where the big checkpoint was. It was this checkpoint where you can sleep. There's people that actually sleep for, you have 24 hours to finish it. So man, you have plenty of time. So if it's your first race, you can literally walk it, get to the checkpoint, 56K, have a snooze. They have hot water, so you can prepare your like something to eat. Like it's a big checkpoint, right? So I thought, if I can push all the way to 56 for me, again, it's not. I'm saying I'm not being cheeky, but I think I could push 50K. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna push really hard 56, and
question.
Yeah.
Before you get to the start line.
Yeah.
See when you're doing those distances. So the first one, obviously, the first 3 days, you'd done like the equivalent of a marathon, and then the next day on the long march, you're doing the double, right? In the morning for breakfast and things like that, do you do anything different? Do you eat more, or do you get?
I did eat more for the 80K, yeah.
Yeah, and how much more would you? I mean, because obviously it's double what you were doing. You're not going to eat double what you would eat.
Actually, I did.
Oh, did you? No surprise there.
But I'll tell you why. So in the other ones, I did 400 calories in the morning, which is half of a like meal that I usually take. Just because if you're running with a heavy stomach, sometimes it's like, you can start burping
that's what I was
it.
thinking,
So, and I thought, 40K, you can survive 40K, right? But in this one, it's 80K, and knowing that I do really want to push 56 to 56. So in my head, it's like, I'm not stopping in 56K. I mean, yes, I'm stopping water, but I'm not sitting down. I'm not really like chilling like I've done in the other days. Like I knew in my head I was going to push it. So I did eat a full meal, 800 calories, because I knew that will push me, that will give me the energy for at least 1 or 2 hours, like without stopping, like, and then that will set me in a good place in the trail or in with everyone. Like I will have a nice, good place, and then I can push. Yeah. So that's what I did. So I didn't stop for a lot of checkpoints. I mean, I did stop. I'm saying stop, just fill my water, because obviously you need to stop for the water, but I wouldn't sit down or just, and eat on the fly. Usually just obviously you have your food next to you and all that. So yeah, but I felt with much energy because I knew the plan was that one. Yeah. So I pushed really hard until 56K. I knew, obviously I was taking the cab.
I know. I keep saying. I mean, I even say to you during the day these days. I still can't believe that was that pace. Like,
guys, I just feel like a new person, and also it changed. The scenery changed. The terrain changed. It started being very like Scotland.
Yeah,
there was no sand anymore. Thank God. And there were rolling hills, like truly rolling hills.
And that's what you trained.
Massive up hills, yes, but I would just have to walk them. Yeah. I still have energy to walk fast.
And for 5 years, you ran that kind of terrain day in, day out. Yeah,
that's what I actually grew in the sport, really, in Scotland, and that's where I felt more at home. Like I feel great. And there was people, for example, I have a lot of advantages as well in downhills. A lot of people are a little bit scared of the downhills, or they have bad knees, so they can push in the downhills. So I'm pretty confident in downhills. Like I can really go really fast downhill, and I will make up a lot of time. So in the flats, I was really like trying to push it, and in the uphills, I was trying to walk as fast as I can. I know it's not very fast, but I'm getting better at that. So I was trying to really take up time, because a lot of people in these first half, again, like I said, they were a little bit scared of going really hard, because they were like, oh, I have to do 80K. So they were saving themselves. There's a lot of people that are like really scared of bunking oh my God, I haven't done this distance.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like quite, you don't want to burn yourself. So they were kind of like they take it very slow, which I didn't. I was like just going. So at the 56, I made it to that checkpoint. It was really nice because there was like they had a center so that you can sleep, and there was like indoor toilets and everything. So I went to the toilet. They give you a Coke. That's the only time of the race that the organizers give you something else that is not water. So I had my celebratory Coke. I had a massive gel, one of those big boys that I have, a precision gel, 80 carbs and 100 something calories. So I just slurp it all in. That was my meal. So I did not prepare a meal.
Because I was going to ask you that. So there was no other meal, like
You
meal.
could.
No, but for you, there was no other meal really.
No.
Okay.
I just had a massive gel.
Funny because but I would have thought that you, in my head, I would have thought that you would have had a big meal in the morning and then still had a meal halfway during it just to keep you. Was there a reason for that? Or?
Because I was trying to move fast. So
Just
I
because you
couldn't
wanted
stop.
to get faster.
Yeah,
so you were thinking more about time. than you
Yeah,
were about
time.
eating.
And I thought I will see how I was feeling for the 56, and we will decide if I wanted to have a meal or not. And then when I got there, that was the whole point. That's when I realized I was actually doing very well, because one, I got there and my tent mate, the other guy, the other Korean guy, was there. He's like, Tania, and I've never seen him. He's really fast. And I was like, what are you doing here? Why am I like, he was like literally leaving, but he seen me coming in.
So
and
do you have
like,
no realization on the course?
I have no idea where I
No,
am.
right,
No,
okay.
I have no idea. I ran most of the time alone, obviously.
You must
So I
look at
have
your
no-
watch and think, oh, I'm doing okay, but you don't.
Yeah,
know.
except but you don't know if you're in the front of the pack, in the middle of the pack, back
Yeah.
of the pack. You have no idea.
Yeah.
So when I seen him, I realized like, hold on a minute, like, and then I start seeing the people around me or the people that were in the checkpoint, and I've never seen them. They were really fast people because they're usually in the front. So I never seen them. I'm usually in these races, and in any race, you run with like a little group or a little,
There's like a pocket that run at the
so
same
you run, you maybe
yeah.
So maybe you take over, but then in the next checkpoint, they will get you, and then you're always running within around those kind of group of people, right? So which it was like Lisa and Manaika, and I will always see them in the checkpoints, like we were running around the same pace, like you're always seeing the same people. But then in that checkpoint, I get there and I see no one that I've seen before. I'm like, or I am really in the back.
You're like, am I in the right race here?
But the guy that is in my tent is really fast, so there's no way he's here. And you know what I mean? I was like, there's something wrong. And then I seen two girls that were also leaving that were really fast. And they are also walkers, by the way, really fast walkers. And that's when I realized, like, hold on a minute, I'm doing a quite good pace. And I kind of like asked one of the volunteers, and they said, oh yeah, you're really good. You're like in the top, like there's no more than 10 people, 10 girls come out yet. And I thought, I'm leaving. So that's when I'm like, I'm just getting to jail. Let's go, because I'm doing great. I'm not going to stop now.
Do you think that was a bit of an adrenaline rush then, and you just thought, I'm getting out and I'm going to try and get a good position?
And then I started also turning around to see if there was another girl coming. But
see where the taxi was.
I was like, oh, I hope they didn't see me coming out of the taxi. But it was great, and I'm gonna tell you guys a little tip that I did. I think not in this stage, but in the previous stage that I kind of maybe forgot to mention. Something that if you're going to do this race, or if you're doing any race, if it has a mark, if it's a marked course, when in this one, for example, it's a really long stretches of nothing, just literally just nothing, just a long, boring track, and you only see pink flags, right? So what I did, I was just playing in my head a game of running flag to flag. So I would run flag to the other flag and then walk from that flag to the next one. And when I made it to that flag, I would run. So run, walk. And it was like a roulette, because you never knew how far or close would be the next flag. And sometimes there was one in the top of the hill, and I'm like, is it run? Really? So you have to run. That's the rules of the game.
I was going to say, did you get to the point where you're run, walk, run, walk, run.
You try not to. Like that's the whole. Like, that was the fun bit.
Yeah.
And it was like, when is gonna be there? And then it was like, there was one really close, and we're like, seriously, walk one, seriously, and it's just funny. So that's what I'm playing when I'm out there. Those are my mental games. So like I said, I had a massive jail, and I do know I'm gonna be hit by a bus with the struggling pain bus at some point.
I love that, by the struggle bus.
The struggle bus. I knew I was gonna get hit by it. It's just fun to know when it's going to happen. So you're just kind of like waiting. I think from 50, I was just gonna like, it's just gonna happen any moment. I'm not scared of it anymore. I know it's gonna hit. So I'm just waiting for the punch. And that punch came around kilometer 65, 70. The pain bus came hard and strong and just painful.
What was the pain?
The sole of my feet. Always.
That's
the only pain I've always had and problem I had all my running.
And the funny thing is you've asked how you train for that, how you get.
There's
Remember, you had
and
a
everyone
wee beam
pain.
to try and strengthen it up.
I still
You've
do
had
that.
the
I still do
ball.
that.
And
I still do
you've
that.
had different things that you've tried to do to deal with it.
Yeah, it's just that. And then I asked around, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, we do. It's painful, yeah." And
Crazy question.
like,
What kind of pain is it? Is it just like a?
It's like when you walk a lot, when you've been walking for a long time. Let's say you walk to a mall and you're walking all day.
Walk to a mall, really?
When we go shopping.
We don't go that long. I mean, to be fair, how many hours have you done at this point?
13.
13 hours on your feet.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So it's just like a sore footbed pain, is it?
Yeah, like when you're walking a long time. Let's say you go whenever you go to Disneyland and you're walking all day.
Okay. I remember I was telling you when I done my 15K, I got off and I had a tingling in my soles in my feet.
Yeah, maybe like that. And then if you keep going, probably they will start
a bit more painful,
hurting. Yeah, it will start hurting. But I knew it was gonna happen. It was really painful. And in that stretch, I got past like 4 or 3 people. So that was very, again, I was like, it's just, I've been fighting all freaking day. And right now, to just punch me hard. So I could not move, and people start thinking.
It's because you get out of the taxi.
Exactly. And that was it. But I know it will pass the pain. Like it gets so painful, and then it gets so painful that it cannot get any more painful, and it just gets numb. I think your brain takes over and be like, just numb that part because we're in really pain.
Yeah.
And that's it. It kind of disappears. So I did that. I knew I just needed to keep walking, clearly. So, but it was a really slow walk, and then people started taking me over, which I was very angry at. And then the last probably 3-4K, I just started to run a little bit, trot again. And we made it to the finish line around 11 p.m. So that was, I didn't even know what time, how many hours? 15? I don't know. Yeah, I think 15 hours. I don't know. I can't remember. But anyway, and I made it to, like I said, I crossed the finish line as 9th women.
9th? That's amazing.
That was good. I was back. And then you want to hear a funny story? So my watch, obviously, I pressed stop, and it clocked 79.5K. And I thought, I really want the 80K just to have it as reference, and also so going to have it, I don't know, so I can, so my watch can have a record of a 50K time.
So you wanted a personal best, did you?
Yeah, it didn't come. But. So I left the bag, and then I started running around
in circles
around the camp for 500 meters.
Most people would just have been like, okay, that's it done, I'm happy.
Everyone was looking at me like,
not you.
Because the people already finished, they were like washing their feet. They were like, a couple of people have dead. just kind of like relaxing. And I'm just there running. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, I have 400 meters to go, 300 meters to go. That was 500 meters a lot. It's half a kilometer.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was funny. Everyone thought I was crazy. But I wanted just to have that 80K in my watch. It was not a PR, sadly, I think. So yeah.
Oh, was it not?
I fought until the last 500 meters, I promise. I'm freaking insane. And all I kept thinking is, I'm feeling great, and tomorrow is going to be my day, because we have another 40 kilometers to go, and everyone's going to be wounded from today. And this is what we do. I kept saying that to myself, like, this is what we do. And this is what we do. Like, that's what we train for. We train for endure. And this is what we do. This is where we're going to shine. So the next episode, I will tell you all about my next. So the next day is a full marathon day after running an 80K. So yeah, that's when we're taking some souls out.
Taking some souls.
Poor souls, they were wounded. And I was just like, so yeah, I was that was stage number 2 and 3 and 4, and I'm gonna read some really quick. Oh my god, we have 10 minutes. Really quick questions that we received. I'll see how much time I have for. But if you go and see the YouTube again, like I said, go check it out. And if you have any questions, please let us know, and I'll be answering them here. And question number 1. What do you think when you're struggling? When I put it, struggling bus, because
do you know something funny? We watched something Cocodona, because we're obviously getting ready for Cocodona as well, believe it or not. But we started watching documentaries and people's experiences at Cocodona.
And the guy said,
"What was his name? Can you remember
oh,
his
I
name?"
can't remember.
Because we've seen a lot of videos of him, and
like,
the first time he says it, he says,
bus.
"I'm waiting on a struggling bus," and we were doubled into laughing.
I was laughing.
It's one of the smallest things that make you laugh.
But I was like, I know exactly the feeling, mate. Like, we're all waiting for the struggle bus.
I've got this vision of him standing at a bus stop, and it turns up the struggle bus. I'm going to go on it. I'm going to go on it.
Yeah. It's funny that I love seeing those documentaries, because I can feel relate. Like, oh my god, there's people out there like me. They think like me. It's not only in my head. But it was funny. Like, yep, we know it's gonna hit, and you don't know. You know it's gonna hit, but you don't know when. So that's the fun part. But yeah. So what do I think when I am in the struggling bus? When I'm getting picked up by the struggling bus? Well, like I said, I have a plan, and just stick to the plan. I find myself that it works better for me. Obviously, you're going to have to see what works for you. There's a lot of people that swear by having a why and a strong why. But a couple of times I realized the why, it just goes out the window when it's really painful. You're like, if my why is, I don't know, my family, I'm like, oh, my family, who cares about them?
It's like me if there's chocolate in the house.
Yeah. You're like, okay, or the diet, right? Like, I'm not going to break the diet, but then you see the chocolate, oh, fuck, just a little bit. And then that's it. Your why just goes out the window. Like, it just doesn't, it's just, for me, maybe I'm too weak or mentally, or I don't know. It just doesn't work for me to think in my why. Maybe no one is worth all that pain for me, because I'm like, some people are like, my family and my do it for whatever, and I was like, I don't love them that much, man. I'm quitting right now. This is not worth the love. So yeah, so it depends on you. For me, like I was mentioning, I love having a plan. It works better because I love plans. I love having a structure. So if I know I have a plan where that happens, one, I feel better mentally, like I'm ready for the struggle bus to come and pick me up. And when it finally arrives, I know that what I need to do. Like, I have the plan. I said I'm not going to quit if I am tired, if I am hungry, or I am too hot. I'm not going to quit. But I'm not taking the quitting option. Like, I will quit if I get in a comfortable place, I eat, and I still not fun, I will definitely quit. Like, I also don't want to put myself into, like, I'm not having fun anymore and this is horrible, and then keep pushing. Like, I'm not that, I'm not going to win anything, like, for being a hero. So just, I would definitely pull the plug if I do all that and I still in an uncomfortable place. But
it
having
can't be
the
fun
plan
all the time.
But usually when you eat when you're not in pain and you're not hot, everything disappears. You're okay again.
And it's fun.
And it's fun again. Well, not fun again, but at least you're like, okay, I think I can survive the next 5K.
Yeah.
So you can just, you can move forward, right? Yeah. So it doesn't, if I didn't have that plan and I get a little bit scared, like it's too hot, I don't feel great, I would just pull the plug right away. So not having that plan, but I don't feel pressured, like, oh, you cannot quit, Tania, or, you know, I have, like, there is an exit, just bear with me, like, you know, sit down, relax. And if you still don't like it, you can get out.
It's just the look on every ultra runner's face I've ever seen during the race. There's a lot of words I would use for their facial expressions, and it's not fun.
Probably you can see them all more than me.
It's not fun.
This is not, but this is our kind of fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one, definitely having a plan relaxes my brain, and don't being so harsh. Obviously, like I said, it's not like the thought of you're not gonna quit. Like, yeah, you can quit, but you just need to
you have to have the right
have
reasons.
Have this plan. Do this plan, and if not, you can quit. Number 2 is the thing that I said, instead of having the why, I do a word, just because for me it works better. And I think I haven't mentioned my word for these race or these series of races, because I think I'm doing just one word for the whole year, because it's the year of the 5 deserts. So that usually have one word for a certain training block or for a race. That works better for me. I think I talked about this also season 1. I usually like to just refer one word, not a quote or anything.
I used to think it was help.
Help. Help me. This, I haven't said, like I said, the word for this year. That is the 5 deserts year. And my word that I picked was legacy. So I'm doing this for my legacy, because when I'm gone, I want to have my name, you know, in that website, or it's going to be in the history of, like, that's going to be the first Mexican that did the 5 deserts. I thought it would be really cool. Also, that's why I'm doing the podcast and sharing all the stories, because hopefully, you know, when someone goes and wants to do something difficult or wants to do these races or whatever, they can refer to us and listen to this and, you know, find it helpful and useful, and use it as a referral point for all the generations up and coming. So that's why it's also the other reason. And also that's why we're doing the Run for Hope, the charity, or doing this for charity, also as a token of leaving something, you know, a little piece of me to someone else. So, I mean, we decided not to have kids. We also talked this about season 1.
What? Hold on.
We said about that we plan our life and all
We're
that
not
in
having
season
kids?
1.
I'm not kidding.
I was like, we talked about this. And so that was a little bit of, like, you know, leaving some things. Is we're not going to have kids. So we're kind of like, I want to leave something here when I'm gone, that I'm not just erased from the world. Yeah. So I can just leave my name there and, oh, you know, she did this or something. So that's what I'm working towards. And that's why I chose the word legacy for this one. And the previous races, I've done grateful, I've done blessed. So how it works is I think about a word and I just think everything that goes around that word. So legacy, like I said, this is everything that's going around my head when I'm struggling and I just think about the word. This is sort of what I think. Or if you choose the word grateful, just start thinking, oh, I'm so grateful that being in this place, in this, you know, having this experience, look around, like, oh my God, look at those views. Like, I'm so grateful for being here, for having such strong legs. So you see what I mean? You immediately start concentrating in something else and redirecting that. Oh my God, I'm in pain. Oh my God, I'm struggling. Oh my God, I'm hot. Oh my God, whatever is happening in the moment. And you start shifting to whatever your word is and start, which is usually a good, positive thing, something that is driving you. So concentrating the other things that are surrounding that usually helps and gets my brain distracted from that. So yeah, that's what I usually do when I'm in the struggle bus. And question number 2. Oh my God, we have to go. But last one. I seen you run with earphones. What do you listen to? Oh yeah, you can see in the video a couple of times that I'm like fighting with my earphones because I use the plug earphones. So there's a cable always tangling all over me and kind of have to figure it out. Yeah. A lot of things. I think we spoke about this one as well in season 1. It depends on the mood, depends on the run. For long and steady runs, I do usually a podcast. I love listening to something like a funny. If you love a comedian, put a funny podcast, because that's gonna put you in a nice mood. You're gonna laugh a little bit. Or I usually also listen to podcasts about running or facts or scientific podcasts about running, kind of like study on the go. Audiobooks, I love a good autobiography, love those, especially from sports people. I feel like I can relate, and it's something like I'm doing something hard, and then they are like talking about, oh, I did this hard, and you're like, oh yeah, man, I'm doing something hard as well right now. So it's just funny. I have also a running playlist, which I shared with you the other day when we were having dinner, and he was just,
I was shaking my head.
This is wrong. Yeah, it's hilarious. I think you can see it in my Spotify. It's just all over the place. But I have specific songs for specific times. I have my power song, my meditation song, and they are ready to press, play and just play in a loop whenever I feel.
To be fair, I would rather have that playlist on than what I get every day.
Oh, yeah.
Tanya plays the same 5 songs by the Beatles all day, every day.
It's my ADHD brain, people.
All day, every day.
There
is times I put my earphones in and walk around because I can't listen to it again.
It's about routine. Do the same thing every day for a minute.
Unbelievable.
And also another tip: if you get bored out there, if your training's starting to get longer, your runs are getting a little bit longer, and you need to keep it in endurance base. Try not to maybe listen to upbeat music. What I do usually as well is I do listen to songs in other languages. So if you're interested in listening, in learning, let's say Italian, just put, I listen to Il Bolo and try to learn a different language while you're running. It's quite fun. And just put one song in repeat and just try to learn it. And if you want to learn Spanish, if you sing 1 or 2 songs in Spanish, I'll tell you what, you'll be,
And you singing the words, but don't know what they mean.
Yeah, you don't know what I mean. Well, you know what? The Il Bolo ones are usually covers for other songs, so I wouldn't know what it means.
And I guess if you're doing Italian and Spanish, that is kind of similar.
Kind of similar. Yeah. But like you know a couple of songs of like Enrique Iglesias already.
I do. Enrique Iglesias.
Because you're like, bailando.
All the songs you could
because
pick.
You're always like,
Enrique Iglesias.
Bailando. Because you've heard them so much. Not that I listen to them, but on the travels or,
What happened to Juan Gabriel?
Yeah, Juan Gabriel. And yeah, exactly. So, see what I mean? It's really fun. It will, again, take your head away from feeling bored, and you will be like, trying to learn the song. So that's how I learned a little bit of English. Listening to the Beatles, Michael Jackson, the Carpenters.
The Carpenters.
The Carpenters. Who on earth would know the Carpenters?
No, they are super popular in the 70s and all that, but I can't imagine why you as a kid would be listening to the Carpenters.
Do you want me to sing a song?
No, please, Lord, don't.
Your love puts me on the top of the world.
That's the only bit you know, isn't it?
That's it. I'm not going to. That's it, guys. That's it for today, because I'm starting to sing.
Yeah.
And that's always not a good idea. So, yeah. Thank you for listening again. We invite you to go to the YouTube to check on the video. If you can, please keep supporting the fundraising Run for Hope. And wonderful weekend. I'll see you next week. And remember to keep doing whatever makes you
ultra happy.